Good morning, trading world. It is June 23rd, 2022, and this is my pre-market outlook and technical analysis for day trading the SPY. So far, we created a higher low, but we are not out of the woods yet. Pretty soon, we should start looking for a cycle from oversold to overbought on the daily time frame. There may be a couple of false starts, or as my analogy says, a dropped baton or two. We'll also be looking at the VIX for a lull around 28 down to 25 before another bout of possible volatility. Can we break out of the top side of the volatility box? And let me see if I can bring up the volatility box that I've been using. All right, I need to expand it. Give me just a second. All right, there we go. Fix the volatility box. The shaded area is our box, and the two red lines are the divisions and the thirds. And just a quick recap. If you're going short in the upper third of the box today, I'm still comfortable shorting in the upper third of this box because I feel like we're going to try and get back up here somewhere. And that's going to be a proper place to short. But we have to be careful because, as we can see, we have support building in the middle of the box. So if you do take a short up here somewhere, you're going to want to take profits quickly and not wait for at least take profits on half of your position somewhere around here, not really waiting on it to go to the lower third of the vol box. Those shorts that I'm talking about are going to be based on the 4-hour chart. I am still holding on to a couple of bull put spreads for a probable break out of the top side of the vol box. The beautiful part about bull put spreads is that even if it doesn't break out, you still get paid a little waiting for it to. With that, let me bring up the key levels of the day. And here we are with the key levels of the day. Starting on the resistance side, we have our jack resistance at 378 to 379 area. Then we have our queen resistance 380 to the 382 area. And then our king resistance 383 to the 387 area. On the support side, we have jack support at 374 to 373 area. Queen support is 372 down to the 370 area. And then we have our king support 369 down to the 362 area. The main thesis for today is bearish, closing below the 374.39 with a projected target low of between 374 and 362. The alternate thesis is bullish, closing above the 374.39 with a projected target high of between 378 and 387. I'm actually expecting a lot of this to carry over into tomorrow's expiration day. Whether we get up here between the queen and king resistance level, or down here between the queen and king support level. A lot of that will actually carry over into tomorrow. The current channel we're in is 364 to up to 379. Now the next major channel is 379 up to 397. Keep in mind, if we go down, the major channel below is 364 down to 353. Let me bring up the scenarios for the day. Alright, our first and most probable scenario today is going to be our range day structure, or expanded range day structure. We can look to set a decision area high boundary around the jack or queen resistance area before pulling back for a portion of the day. So, as you know, for those of you that follow me, the range day is the hardest day structure to diagram because there are so many different combinations in which things could go. But the key thing in a range day period is basically setting a high and a low and chopping between those two for a majority of the day. And then I bring in the expanded range day structure because it usually has a bias tilt to it. So it could be a bullish bias to it or bearish bias. And what happens is that if it's a bearish tilt to it, the initial low that we set, we're going to continue to challenge and push that low or push that boundary at some point. That's the only difference between the expanded range day and the regular range day structure. So I look for us to kind of push a boundary a bit today. Let's get to the next scenario. Our next two scenarios have the same probability. I'm going to start with the trend day up structure. We start with a gap up from the previous close represented by the blue line, and we start the cash open with a fade toward that previous close. We find support on or before that previous close, then begin the uptrend for the morning. We find midday chop around either the possible queen or king support. That should be resistance. Alright, made that correction, and again we should find midday chop either around the possible queen or king resistance area before opening up the second half of the day with probably a head fake, continuing the trend, and then a fade going into the close. And let's bring up the last scenario. Alright, our last scenario is our rounded reversal day type structure. We could get a continued push lower toward the jack or queen support area, find midday chop around either the queen or king support before spending the same energy we use coming down to go back up the second half of the day. This day structure has a vice versa warning on it, and that vice versa could look like this. Coming into the cash open, we get a continued push up toward the jack or queen resistance area, finding our midday chop around either the queen or king resistance area, and then using the same amount of force that we came up with in the morning to go back down the second half of the day. So that's our rounded reversal day type structure. Be on the lookout as I really kind of expect things to just kind of chop around today. I don't really expect anything really big until the expiration day tomorrow. But with there being a almost daily expiration on the SPX, which is the main instrument of the S&P 500, things could start to get wild on days like this, a Thursday, that is not a primary expiration on the SPY yet. So we're going to look how that evolves as they start to bring in these daily expirations, which are already here on the SPX. I haven't looked or done research to see when it will be available on the SPY and other instruments yet, but just know there it is being tried out as we speak on the SPX. Again, in trading, it is also important for you to understand and know your risk for each position that you put on, because your main job as a trader is to protect the money that you have already, because if you lose that, you can't make any further money. So as always, wishing you a positive trading day. Have a great one.